Nick speaking, and welcome to this video. Right, day 10 of the WarbossTae Painting Challenge. Got some exciting stuff coming up for you at the end of this video. I'm going to be showing you my test paint scheme for the hair. But first of all, just a chat about what else I've been up to. So I've been painting for 4 more hours, and I have now finished the base coat of the skin. So that was 2 layers of Celestra Grey, starting with the Hellions, because I've done the Witches yesterday, and then I'll show you the other boards in a second. First of all, let's just zoom in on these Hellions. Probably the most amount of skin on any of the models, actually, probably even more skin than actually on the Witches, but they are pretty cool once done. Just show you that one there as well. If I can get it to focus, there you go. So yeah, really cool models, but lots of skin. So yeah, I started off with that board, and then I went over and I continued on with the Warrior board, which I'm just going to get out now, let you have a closer look at that. Okay, so this is the Warrior board. Not too many bare-skinned faces on this unit, but there's probably about 25% of the models, I would say. So starting off with my Kazin Cabal Inspiration model, zoom in. So painted his face. Some of them have a little bit of skin on their sort of midsection as well. So that's that. Show one of the newer warriors. So newer warrior there. I've also been working on the HQ, so just move the camera slightly. Here we go. So we've got just on this side there. That's the Archon. So I gave him obviously the skin, and then the Homunculus, which I have to be honest, struggling with this sculpt, trying to work out exactly what it is. I went into Google and I obviously basically researched it. I found some old GW stock pictures, and they seemed to have painted that head as skin. So I just ran with it because I didn't know what else to do. I'm thinking once I've got the purple wash in there, there's quite a lot of detail, and probably just make it a bit more, I don't know, gory, let's say. So I probably won't highlight it quite so much, keep a bit more purple in the recesses. But yeah, that's that model. So what I'm going to do is get the next board out and we'll have a chat about that one. Okay, so on the next board, started with the Scourges. Painted the skin on there. There's not too much skin, it's quite a good mixture actually. There's a few with their sort of feet out, they have no shoes, and a couple of arms exposed, but on the whole there's not too much there, just a few bits and pieces. Let me just show you one just to start with. Just zoom in. So yeah, basically just did his feet on that one. So like I said, there's not too much skin there. And then it was time for the grotesques, who continue to cause me some problems on what to do with them, to be fair. On a side note, I found another way to get some more orange in on this one. He's got like a bell on the side. I've only base coated it so far, but I thought it'd be pretty cool to have that as an orange bell. So now I've got orange on the majority of the models now, just 2 without orange, so pretty happy with that. But yeah, in terms of the skin, I've been really struggling because I'm not quite sure what to do, to be honest with you. I like how they look at the moment. Now, bearing in mind, I don't know the fluff of the grotesques, but putting the fluff aside, in my mind's eye, the colour that they are now for the skin sort of seems to suit them. I'm thinking if I paint them all with the same coloured skin as the rest of the army, they'll be too like skinny as such. There'll be too much skin on there, and not only that, but I have to bear in mind the challenge itself, what I'm trying to achieve with this challenge, which obviously is paint the whole army in a very short space of time. Now, if I went ahead and said, okay, I am going to paint their skin with this grey colour, it's going to be really tough, because these are incredibly detailed actually. They've got like pieces of cloth on there, they've got straps, leather sections, and it's going to be really, really tough to go in and actually lay down the base coats for the skin. And then even if I do that, then I've got to consider what else to do with the other details, because it might look a little bit odd if the other details aren't painted. So what I'm planning on doing with these is actually leaving them as they are in this like browny colour. I think it will suit the army quite well. What I was thinking of doing was going in, and where I've got like fur, like for example down the bottom here, most of them have some fur on the shoulders and things. I was thinking about painting the fur the same colours I'm going to paint the hair on the rest of the models, so that will bring that extra colour into them, but without going all out with the like Dark Eldar skin as such. And that should, like I said, help me speed paint them, because ultimately I've got to remember I am speed painting these, and I have to be honest, I sort of fell into the trap of trying to paint them to the highest quality that I could. Like with the skin, you know, and when I was talking about how I'm going to do the skin, I was talking about doing the base coat and then washing it and then doing a highlight, then doing extreme highlights. And although that's not necessarily massively in depth, it's probably more in depth than I should be doing for the project that I'm trying to achieve. So I've decided now I probably am only going to do one highlight, so I'm going to do the base, wash and one highlight. It doesn't mean that sometime in the future I can go in and re-highlight, even possibly at the end if I have some time at the end, a couple of hours at the end, maybe just go in with one final highlight. But I've got to remember what I'm doing, so I am speed painting this army, tabletop quality, and I've got to get that mindset. And it's hard for me because I'm not used to the mindset of just getting paint on the models. Anyway, I digress. What I really want to show you, which I'm very excited about, is how I'm going to do the hair on these models. So I'm going to stop the camera and I'll be back. Right, okay, so back to the printout that I did of the Kazan hair. As you can see, we've got various colours of hair. There's like a grey, a dark green, a light green, and that's down to the different sects or factions of the Kazan. Now I have considered painting each of my units with different colour hair, so that I could sort of maybe have some sort of fluff that all the Kazan sects have come together and they're fighting as one. But I don't think that really fits into the Kazan sort of fluff as such, and also I don't think it's something that I really want to do, because I want the army to be fairly uniform, and although yes, potentially that could be a good way of determining which unit is which, I plan on using the bases to do that anyway. I'm going to base them slightly differently for the different units, so that's not so much of a problem. So I have decided to do one colour only and have my army as like a single Kazan sect fighting as one. So the colour which I decided I would like to try to achieve is this one. I didn't want anything too bright of a green, and I didn't think the grey really looked that great. So this was the colour that I was going to look for at doing. I had a good chat with my buddy, 33 Claydog, who's just an awesome painter, very good with colours. So he gave me some little tips, and I did a test model, and I have to say I'm really happy with it. Let me show you the test model now. Okay, so here we are. I used a Howling Banshee. Let me just zoom in. Hopefully you can see this. There is the test model, and I think it's looking pretty cool, and not only that, it's looking pretty similar to what I was trying to achieve. So I achieved it by base coating it with, what's it called, Caliban green. I then washed it with black, and then I did like a stipple stroke sponge effect with Morphine brown, and then also War flesh, and that is the result. I don't know how well it's picking it up on the camera, but in real life it looks pretty cool. Now I must admit this Howling Banshee is probably an ideal model, because it's almost got identical or like wild hair to that. picture. Of course the Eldar are probably a little bit more tame on some of the models, not all of them, but some of them have just got like normal straight hair. So I don't know how well it's going to pick up on those, but I'm going to run with it. I'll do my best. It's nice and quick to do with the sponge, and although dry brushing possibly is also maybe even quicker to do, the trouble with the dry brushing is that I'll probably get a bit messier with it. So hopefully with the sponge and tweezers I'll be a bit more controlled with the stipple effect and not get it on the rest of the model that I've already painted. So that's it. I'm very excited by that, and my next task will be to go in and base coat all of the hair with that first layer. I'm figuring I want to base coat that, wash and sponge the hair and get the hair finished before I moved on to the skin. And the reason for that is if I do happen to get some of that sponge stuff on the skin, I can just paint over the skin before I wash it and then highlight it, obviously as that's like a lighter colour. So that is the plan. I hope you enjoyed the update. And you're not going yet because I've still got the daily question to do. Okay, so day 10 question. What painting, modelling technique or skill do you want to improve over the next year? For challenge veterans, which is me, do you remember answering this question last year and have you improved? I remember the question. I can't 100% remember the answer. The answer would have been either to improve my freehand or to improve my wet blending, and I think over the course of a year I have done that. I've been painting the freehand obviously on my Space Wolves, I've been blending the Space Wolves armour, and I would say that I am definitely better, possibly quicker, more importantly, at actually doing things like the wet blending. So I'm happy with the improvements. I certainly know that I've got more improvements to make, and there will actually be a video coming up on that at some point in the future. So keep an eye out on that. But no, right, that is it. That is the end of the video. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in tomorrow's one.